On the line with us is Greg Palast, the investigative journalist, author, and filmmaker of The Best Democracy Money Can Buy. His website, gregpalast.com. You can tweet him at Greg_Palast. Greg, welcome back.
Glad to be with you again, Tom.
Great to have you with us. Are you still down in Georgia's 6th, or are you back home?
Well, I had to escape because it turned out that the Republican candidate in the Handel-Ossoff race, Karen Handel, has decided to make me an issue in the campaign. During their debate, she said she was accosted by a reporter for a, ready, liberal Democratic Party organization. Now, as you know, that can't be true because the Democrats are not organized. But beyond that, it was, I'm reporting for the Thom Hartmann show, and it has a big press thing around my neck. And so she said she was accosted, and that meant that she was asked a question that she didn't like. And in fact, I have it all on camera. You had a little bit of it on the air before. Now I've given you the full report. I asked her, by the way, first, are the Democrats stealing the election? After all, that's what they're claiming, double voters and ghost voters and illegal alien voters. And so I said, are they stealing the elections? Oh, they're pulling out all the stops. She's very happy to hear that question from me. The minute I said, well, what about the Republicans? You, Karen Handel, were Secretary of State, and you began programs of purging voters from the 6th CD where she's running Others, are you, Karen, Ms. Handel, are you purging the voter rolls so you can win the district by removing voters of color? You've used a system that we've talked about here on Thom Hartmann show. She was one of the first people to jump in and use, and her office to use Interstate Crosscheck, the Chris Kobach program of hunting down so-called double voters. She went on to praise the Kobach-Trump double voter crosscheck wipeout program, and that she would use it to remove illegal voters. I said, illegal voters, did you convict any? Or arrest any? She says, oh yeah, we did. And then I just want to note for the facts we no one in Georgia, not one person has been convicted of voting 2 times in the same election in 2 states. But yet they removed, we don't know how many thousands of voters of color from the voter rolls. And as soon as I started asking the follow-up about, they were doing Gestapo-like raids, I kid you not, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation kicked in the doors of voting registration groups in the Black community, the Asian American community, grabbed their computers and shut these groups down. It was a reign of terror, threatening them with legal actions, with criminal actions.
For registering voters?
Yeah, and I'll give you a little about that. It's in a little clip I sent you if you have time, but it's in the film. Well, actually, the group is in the film The Best Democracy Money Can Buy. People may not know this, but a lot of that film was actually shot in the Georgia 6 CD. I didn't know it would become a national focus at the time.
Right.
But you'll remember that there was for those who've seen it, and I'm not giving anything away. I'm not telling you the ending. Trump is the ending. But a group called Asian American Legal Advocacy Council. Try to say that fast, Tom. Mm-hmm. Otherwise known as 10,000 Korean Votes. They're registering 10,000 Koreans, mostly in the 6th, Korean Americans. And they were very happy. You'll see them in the film. They're really happy about all their voter registration stuff. Well, after the film was shot, and I said, check on whether people were actually put on the voter rolls. They did. Thousands of names were missing of Korean Americans who vote solidly Democratic. So their lawyer contacted the Secretary of State, Ms. Handler's successor, and co-candidate Brian Kemp, who's running for governor of Georgia as a Republican. And they said, where's our missing Koreans? They're not on the voter rolls. The answer was to kick in their doors, take their computers and files, and say they're all going to be charged with criminal mishandling of voter registration forms. The criminals are the ones threatening to arrest them.
Wow.
It's so frightened the people in the Asian American community, which tries to keep its head down, that the organization shut down. Believe me, if those votes that the Korean community had actually registered were put on the registries, Ossoff would have won the first round, straight out.
Right.
Another group, New Georgia Project, African American voters. Again, massive registration in the 6th CD. statewide, they registered 86,000 people, and 46,000 were put on the voter rolls, 40,000 were not. This was, some of these registrations are as old as 6 months, and they still haven't been put on the registries. They won't be on the registries for the Tuesday vote. That's 40,000, not all of them in the 6th, but a lot, because that's the new growing area. Ossoff would have won that first round, and he should be a walkaway for this second round, except for these shenanigans. So when I asked her about the raids on the voter registration offices, first some big kind of deep fry bloated character jumps between her and me, pushes me back. A second guy grabs me by the arm and pulls me away. A third guy muscles me in the shoulder to pull me back and throw me back. And then they tried to, block me from, I waited again politely. I said, okay, if muscling is the new Republican answer to tough questions, I'll wait. And then when I tried to ask another question, once again, I was blocked, body blocked. And I have considered saying I will file assault charges or give me the answer, because that's what I really want. I don't care about assault charges. I do care about the answer to the question. Are you blocking voters of color from registering in the 6th CD? Why? I mean, they have blocked the voters. Why are they doing that? And it was that deliberately so she could get elected.
Right. And so do you think that there's a good chance that Karen Handel could win the 6th Congressional District of Georgia, the Republican? By the way, we should note that she is the woman who was a senior executive of the Susan G. Komen Foundation, who tried to take their money away from Planned Parenthood, which caused Komen to lose millions in contributions, and I believe, or a lot in contributions, and she was fired, as I recall, from Komen, or she resigned. So this is an anti-abortion activist as well. But in any case, are you expecting that Karen Handel is going to beat Jon Ossoff simply because all these African Americans and Koreans who have registered to vote are not on the voter rolls?
I'm afraid that when you remove several thousand voters, remember Ossoff was only 3,700 votes short of winning outright,
In the first election.
No, in the first round of voting.
Right.
And so, given that he was up, and she got like 20%, he got 48.5%. So this should be a walkaway. But given the blockade on those voters and other tricks that they've done, they put all the voting stations in white areas. You look at the map, and it's like it's a complete Jim Crow operation, but it's the new Jim Crow, not white sheets, it's spreadsheets. They are very adept. I couldn't believe the way they put the early voting stations and how they've laid out the voting systems. And watch, you're going to see the usual game of long lines in African-American neighborhoods and Korean areas. Little Korea is there from the northern suburbs of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they don't want this community to vote, and they're going to be, people are going to be handed provisional ballots, because if your name is David Ho, which is like John Black in Korea, they're going to say you've already voted, or they won't say anything. They'll just say your registration's missing. So I don't see how it can be a fair race. Ossoff won it fair and square. He should win it again fair and square. In fact, one of the reasons he should win it is not only the massive changing demographic of the Georgia 6th CD, so that it's turning quickly into a minority district, but in addition, 50% of Republicans have said they're afraid of losing insurance under Trump care. Right. And so even a lot of Republicans are really scared of Trump care. And so, they might have no votes from Republicans or crossover quietly. I memean, any amount of votes should put Ossoff over. This is ridiculous, this runoff. But they are pulling out all the stops. And in Georgia, it's, you're back to like 1956.
Yeah, it really is. Louise and I lived in the Georgia 6th District for 13 years. And Newt Gingrich was our congressman. It was a very bizarre experience. Wow, amazing.
Yeah, well, in fact, I should say that originally, I mean, the irony for Republicans is that they designed the district for Newt Gingrich, and when there was a complaint about excluding gerrymandering to destroy the political power of black voters, right. The speaker, the chairman of the committee drawing the districts said, and this is the film from the ACLU, said, and this is a quote, "I ain't here to draw no, I'll say Negro districts," except he didn't say Negro.
Right.
So this was meant to keep it all white. And they ended up with a giant Korean American community, which, by the way, used to vote Republican, but they now vote like they've turned black. They vote about 75, 80% Democratic. And so Handel can't make it. And, you know, she got a big endorsement from Donald Trump. In fact, I just sent you a photo inside a little Valentine heart of Trump and Handel kissing on the lips at the NRA convention.
Ew.
I don't know if you want to show this on, you know, if there's children watching.
I can't do that.
It's stunning. So, you know, despite Trump's kiss from the Dementor himself, Handel can't win fair and square. That I know. That's not even a question.
Yeah, this is going to be a real interesting one to watch. Greg Palast, investigative journalist, author, filmmaker. The Best Money Democracy Can Buy is his current film out. You can watch it online on Amazon. It streams for about $2, as I recall, or you could get the DVD. And you can find out all about it over at gregpalast.com. You can tweet him at Greg_Palast. Greg, thanks so much for being with us today. Thanks, Greg. Great talking to you. We'll be right back.